Wubba lubba dub dub, motherfuckers. What's going on, everyone? It is I, everyone's favorite jack of all trades with the foul mouth, Commodore Ruben. And today I've got a Star Trek related book review for you guys. No, it's not this one. I'm still reading this one. That would be Spock's World. I'm still reading it. But no, this is a Star Trek Next Generation novel that I just recently got finished reading. I'm going to review it to you guys, but before I begin, I'm going to start this video off on a really sad and depressing note. We had just lost a Star Trek legend, guys. The great Nichelle Nicholas, if you guys remember, was the legendary communications officer, Lieutenant Latoya O'Hara, from the original Enterprise, Star Trek the original series. She has sadly passed away, and God, she will be missed, especially from all of us Trekkies and sci-fi fanatics. Definitely gonna miss her, and condolences to her family and everyone that knew and worked with her. Sorry for the loss, and it's really sad, guys. It's terrible. God bless you, Miss Nicholas, and hopefully you are now sailing through the cosmos. So, yeah, anyway, as you can see, I have my lovely model of the original Enterprise, which is a Constitution class starship, which I built as a tribute to my good friend and fellow Star Trek lover and fanatic, Jerry. If you guys want to see that, you can see the videos. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, Jerry. Anyway, the book is right here. This is it. Star Trek: The Next Generation Crossover. That's a novel by Michael Jan Friedman. And basically, what it does is, once a violent primitive race, the Vulcans renounced brutality and their warlike nature for logic, but a small faction established the Romulan Empire. Yes, Romulans and Vulcans are the same species. The Romulans have kept well, I'll explain more about it later, where the old Vulcan way flourished. Now, deep in Romulan territory, an underground movement to reunite the two worlds of common ancestry but conflicting ideologies is underway. A reunion some have waited a lifetime to see, and others would give their lives to stop. Continuing the mission he began in Unification, which is part 1 and 2 from the Next Generation television series, Starfleet Ambassador Spock endeavors to impart logic of the Vulcan way to a small band of Romulans eager to unite the Romulan Empire and the planet Vulcan. But unbeknownst to them, a Romulan spy has joined the ranks, disguised as a Unification sympathizer. Deceived by this traitor, Spock and his students are taken hostage. Fearful that Spock's knowledge of Federation security will fall into enemy hands, Starfleet dispatches its best ship, the USS Enterprise 1701-D, and the most respected Captain Jean-Luc Picard to secure the hostages, release Spock's former shipmate from the original Starship Enterprise, Ambassador McCoy, more than 140 years old but still as feisty as ever, is brought in to consult on the negotiations. Their situation is further complicated when Captain Montgomery Scott confiscates an out-of-service starship and effects his own daring rescue of Spock. Picard must now find a way to preserve the Federation's security and prevent a war while treading a minefield of danger and daily Romulan politics that threaten his ship, his crew, and the Federation he serves. So basically, the story takes place shortly after Unification Part 1 and 2 from the television series Star Trek The Next Generation. Basically, Ambassador Spock at this time, is leading like it said, a group of Romulans that are wanting to reunite the Romulan Empire with the planet Vulcan because, at one time they were the same people. But the Vulcans, have learned of a better way of dealing with things through logic and meditation, while the Romulans kept the old Vulcan ways of war and death and destruction and blood. Anyway, Spock and his sympathizers are captured because there's a traitor amongst the ranks. And of course, Captain Picard has to go in and rescue him and the crew of the USS Enterprise D. Well, unbeknownst, he has someone that comes along to help along with the negotiations to help free Spock, and that would be Ambassador McCoy, which would be Leonard McCoy, Dr. McCoy. And if you guys know anything about Dr. McCoy, he's very straight, blunt, and basically says what the fuck he thinks. And of course, it leads to a lot of trouble. But at the same time, when all this is going on, Captain Montgomery Scott, the miracle worker, steals the Enterprise's sister ship, the USS Yorktown, the NCC 1717, which she was a museum ship, and uses the computer systems from the space shuttle that Captain Picard gave Captain Scott to basically operate the entire ship by one person. Basically, it's the same concept that he used to try to run the Enterprise with a skeleton crew from the third film, which was The Search for Spock. Same concept, better technology though. And it's basically like a dangerous cat and mouse game with the Federation, which of course the Federation being involved, which would be Captain Picard and his crew. And of course, with all this happening, Captain Scott's daring, bold mission of using the sister ship, the Yorktown, to rescue Spock, it goes away. It goes really bad, and the Romulans capture him. And of course, now you have not just the rescue of Spock, you have to rescue Scott as well. And so, number one, which would be Lieutenant Riker, along with Data and Geordi LaForge, all volunteer to rescue Captain Scott, which they get into a little bit of a bind themselves, but it works out in the end. But at the same time, as things are, because Captain Picard is trying to do things, diplomatically. Ambassador McCoy is getting really fucking fed up with this shit, and so he pulls rank, and he makes himself the captain of Enterprise, which he tries to play a card over the, I think it was the Proctor, which is what they called the leader of the Romulan Empire. But the Proctor knows something's up, and after doing some investigation, found out that one of his old crewmates was that of Spock. And of course, that's when the shit hits the fan. And I don't mean just hitting a fan, I mean a massive fucking tank of raw sewage hitting a steam turbine. That kind of shit. Well, in the end, the Captain Picard, he actually brings up to the fact to the Romulans that they were having a bit of a conflict with the Stug, which a lot of people didn't know it at the time. And of course, the Romulans were listening because they didn't want this shit kind of getting out to anybody. And so they were able to get the unification off the planet, because they say it, from what it was Ambassador McCoy that came up with the idea, that saying that it was as big of a shit show for Vulcan as it was for Romulus. And in the end, they save Captain Scott, they save Ambassador Spock, and it's all good and happy as ever. But of course, Spock being Spock and wanting to reunite the two halves of his heritage, the Romulans and the Vulcans, goes back to Romulus with a few of the sympathizers to start another band of unificationists. And this book is absolutely fucking amazing, guys. Absolutely fucking enjoyable. It was just like it's just like a fucking episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. This crossover could have well been Unification Part 3. It fits so well with the storyline. It could have well been the fucking third section of that episode had it been a 3-parter. I just love the fact that there was such an amazing blend of not just Next Generation, but of course, old school favorite, the original series, guys. I mean, come on. Fucking amazing shit. Speaking about the original series, I actually went to Half Price Books, and they had the original series complete edition on DVD for like $40, and I fucking slammed down on that shit. Me and my brother both, they would pay $20 each. So me and my brother both bought the complete series of Star Trek, the original series on DVD. So I'm so fucking excited to get it, and we're gonna fucking binge watch that shit for the next week. So it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, overall, it's a fucking amazing story. Fucking amazing book. I love the story. I love the plot twist. And, like I said, it's a mixture between the best of the Next Generation with the best of the original series. And it's absolutely hands down two fucking thumbs up and fucking 5-star book. If you guys haven't read it, fucking get a copy, read it. You won't be disappointed. So there you have it. That is my review of the Star Trek Next Generation novel Crossover by Michael Jan Friedman. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back with you. If YouTube isn't being a bunch of dickheads and turn the fucking comments off. So, anyway. And until next time, this is Commodore Urban. Saying smooth seas and clear skies, happy sailing with all of you. God bless you all, and until next time, just be yourselves, and, space is the final frontier. So, I'll catch you out there. So long, and sail on, my friends.